Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is third and last part of user guide. This video will cover SIT device setup. Last two videos were about inverter settings through SIT. Let go to SIT device settings page. Either click on this toolbox or go to SIT device setup tile on home page. Here we are on SIT device setup page. The FERT section gives information. MAC and IP addresses of device and software version. MAC is important when using multiple devices. IP is important if DNS SIT/ stops working. Just type IP address in browser and you will reach SIT web page. Then we have SIT software version. Currently this is 0.93. This is beta version for me. It's working for more than 3 months now. When you get it, it will be at least version 1. This will be helpful for future updates. Remember, you can further develop with SIT. Though I will share my updates. For further development, ESP now data structure will be shared. These icons will stick at the top. Anything on the left side of home icon will link within this page. Clock will go to time zone. Home icon will go to main SIT page. Let's see first setting option. This is about SIT services. These are device specific. Any device can offer up to 6 services. Just click to enable or disable. Inverter services will read inverter data through serial port. If using multiple devices, choose services carefully. Maybe I need to add Google Translate to SIT. But it will only work if connected with home router. Anyways, if SIT is directly connected with inverter. Keep inverter services on, else disabled. And we know green means enabled and red is disabled. Next service is web server. This is web host or web page service. So you can choose which device to act as web host. Then we can save data logs using micro SD card. Right now I am not using it, as I am using only one device and facing power shortage. Will enable it on another device. Such device will also do intelligent solar power distribution. That's wish list for now. Therefore my multiple device setting is disabled for now. Then we have SIT buzzer. This is in addition to inverter buzzer. Small beeps will give you status alerts. I will include it with matrix display video. When SIT starts you can hear up to 4 beeps. One is on, 2 for Wi-Fi, 3 for inverter and 4 means setup complete. Better to do separate video on beeps. Last service is for temperature and humidity sensor. I have connected this sensor at LCD connector. It's AM2320I2C sensor. It can read temperature and humidity levels. Out of these 6 services, 2 are off. Let's move to next section, that is Wi-Fi mode. There are 2 choices. Either you can use SIT as device Wi-Fi router that's internal. Or you can connect SIT with your home router that's external. I have connected with home router, so external router is green. To use internal router, just click on it. You can choose either of internal or external. As default, SIT will act as router. SIT Wi-Fi is default name. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 is default password. External router has TEO benefits. 1. No need to change Wi-Fi. 2. Time is correct. Internal benefit is isolation of SIT from internet. Though time will be incorrect as it picks it from inverter. And that so far inverter time is not working correctly. The next setting is display mode. Let's go to the next slide. We have 3 options for display mode. First, no display. Second, LCD. Third, Matrix. I have used LCD and Matrix both. And settled with Matrix as I read numbers from distance. You can see Matrix display in bottom right window. For LCD I had to go near the screen. So my recommendation is Matrix display. With multiple SIT devices you can place this display far from inverter. Detailed display settings will follow. In this section, you will choose display mode. If you want to review data only on web page, then no display is for you. Let's move to detailed settings. First section is about Wi-Fi settings. Default is internal or SIT as Wi-Fi. Password is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. You can change default Wi-Fi name and password. Minimum characters are 8 and 5 respectively. Just press update to save changes and reboot. For external router, update Wi-Fi SSID with your network name and password. And restart SIT device. Like if it's Mickey Mouse, just type it. After restarting you will connect to home router. This is simple, I hope. Let's move to next setting. This is display settings section. Fishert is about LCD. Hexadecimal 27 is hardware address. LCD columns can be 16 or 20. LCD rows can be 2 or 4. Do choose as per your actual hardware. Remember, you can either use LCD or humidity sensor. I may enable both if there will be a need. But due to power limitations for now only one can be used. Last setting for LCD is font size. It's difficult to read LCD from distance. I tried big fonts. We'll do video on LCD later. Next is matrix display settings. You can use either or 4 types of matrix hardware. These are FC16 generic IC and Parola. Separate video on matrix will follow. I am using two 8x32 matrix displays. That's what you will require too. Try to play with hardware settings till you get correct display. 8x32 in fact become 8x64 when joined together. Or you can try joining 8x8 modules. Display will be faulty if proper power is not given. Or SID will keep rebooting. So be careful about power requirements. Matrix will use much power at full brightness. I keep my brightness at lowest. Good visibility from 15 to 20 feet. Let's change brightness to full. Isn't this too much? Let's turn it to. Let's say 25%. Still too high. Need to go back to lowest settings. Device got stuck. As I mentioned, power is an issue. I am supplying power through USB connector of 32 Spanish pesetas. Need to supply power through VCC and directly to all modules. Then power issues will be taken care of. Next section is time zone setting. These work with internet time. When connected with external router, there are 3 settings. Add or less, hours and minutes. Please adjust according to your location. Next is data reading and saving. Serial data is what you get from inverter. Inverter updates can be set between 1 to 780 seconds. Mine is set to 5 seconds. You can try 1, but with maximum services. Device may not be able to read after each 1 second practically. Matrix display change is also linked with inverter reads. If you have connected SID with PC, you can read data through PC serial port 2. This is where PC serial reported comes in. Mine is set to nothing. As I am using SID standalone. The options are nothing, inverter and peer data. Peer data is for multiple devices. Then IP or Wi-Fi reports at setup. Activities is about additional reportings. File information is about your saved settings. I had used this for debugging. You may not need this unless you are doing further development. Further development is what SID is for. Otherwise, dumb solutions are already available. Maybe you can directly import data in Excel and see some fancy graphs. I think I do a video on this too. How to import serial data into Excel. Next section is about data logging on micro SD card. You have two setting options. Write data every 1 to 300 minutes. And split file 1, 2 or 3 megabytes size. The SD card should be FAT16 formatted. Max 2 gigabytes can be used. 2 gigabytes is SD card module limitation. I have yet to start using this service. Will do once shift to multi-device setup. Then I can have some graphic analysis of data. Ideas. Anyways, it is good to have data. As data is the new wealth. It can help in further development. Maybe in future versions you can download data file from SIT web pages. Right now you have to do manually. By connecting SD card with PC and copying file. So I should start collecting data. For that either I to switch to multiple devices. Yes, I have a dozen ESPs lying around. These ESPs I have collected while testing SIT development. Or need to redesign power source for single one. I think user guide is getting longer. Next section is about multiple devices. I hope you have already tested multiple devices. The option was available in demo file. Multiple devices are useful. With maximum services and distance, like when inverter is in one corner of your house and your matrix display is required at other. Or like I have planned to install one in main power distribution box. So I can control solar power distribution. Anyways, you can connect maximum 4 devices together. You can choose custom ID for each device. Between 1 to 8. For 3 other SIT devices. You have to update MAC address. MAC address is important for inter-SIT communication. Follow format is shown by zeros. Reboot will be required for these settings. This is the MAC address for this device. SIT devices use ESP now. ESP now is Wi-Fi technology where ESP devices communicates without Wi-Fi setup. I will be doing videos on ESP now soon. Plus all HTML codes used in SIT. Principally this will help you guys. If you want to do further development yourself. The last important thing is Wi-Fi channel. For all devices to talk to each other, they should have same channel settings. The choice is between 0 to 11 channel. This video is getting too long. Channels are restricted to 11 as there is restriction in few countries. Alright, in last section we have 3 options. First option is SIT software update. Let's update and update. It will be a bin file. Where it is. Click and update. You can see progress. Once updated, device will restart. Once it restart, then you can refresh page by clicking. If buzzer is enabled, you will start initial setup beeps. Device will be ready in less than a minute. If humidity and temperature sensor is enabled, then restart may take a bit longer. You can see booting status on display too. LCD or matrix, whatever you have. Once you see numbers, this means reboot and setup is complete. Technically, Arduino loop has started. Let's refresh SIT web page. Settings. You have next option of restart. This is needed after updating setup options on this page. Factory reset and restart is for SIT device. This will not change inverter, but reset SIT custom settings. Remember, when you update, your saved settings don't change. Only factory reset will remove custom settings. If this reset don't work, you can attach ESP with PC and send serial command. Factory data reset yes. No spaces between these 4 words. FDR and Y in capital. If there is any change in setup, I have plans to do follow-up video. Otherwise this guide will work. This was part 3 of the user guide. If you have any questions, leave in comments.